Hi, Marty. This is Manny Marino from Dewood Sun out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I am going to spend the next few minutes on this video talking to you about the chair that I made for you. I had a fun time speaking with Jamie, talking about the design, the stain, the color. So everything was all custom, and hats off goes to Jamie. That was the fun part for me is talking to her about the logo, the design, what colors to go with, and seeing what you would like. So this is a chair made specifically and special for you. So fun for me because this is the first time I've ever made a New York chair. I've made hundreds and hundreds of chairs, but never a Buffalo Bill. So it was kind of fun to do something I've never done before. Um, Again, I'll spend a few minutes talking about the entire assembly process, the stain, the finish, and again, steps on how to put it together. So first thing you should know about my chairs is they're all made out of red cedar, and it's perfect for outdoor furniture because it won't rot or retain water. It actually can sit in the hot sun all day, and it's never hot to the touch. I know it's going to South Carolina, but in the event that it's going to go up north or New York or somewhere, um, I recommend that you put it away in the winter so it's not always constantly wet with snow. Um, as far as like the stain, there's two stains that I use. The first one is cherry, so the entire chair is stained in cherry. And then I use a dark red mahogany for the base of the chair, and on the back it's called a chestnut red chestnut. That's the name of the stain. Um, so there you go. You got a couple stains happening there. As far as like the inlay, let me just talk about that. So my style of woodwork is called an inlay, and that just means if you follow these boards, they're cut from the same wood. In fact, it's a double inlay. So not only the silhouette of the state, also the logo as well. So from a picture or video, it doesn't do it justice because people think that's just painted on or it's a decal or a sticker, but it's not until you get really close that you can actually see that all of those pieces are individually cut, painted, then put back like a puzzle. Then I router the perimeter and along with the outside of the state. So it's called an inlay, and that's what's kind of fun to doing a chair. Or an inlay design. So as far as like the state is concerned, I really enjoy doing states because I try to incorporate the back or the shape of the state as much as I can into the chair. And then also it was kind of interesting to figure out what to do with this Long Island piece because it sticks out, and so I was like, it was challenging to figure out how I was going to make it work, but I had to have a certain height so I can give it enough clearance so that the arm could sit right underneath it. But that's the inlay. The fork end, your last name is laser engraved. Again, it's very tough to see because the lighting isn't very bright in here, but it's not only engraved, but it's also painted the Buffalo Bills red. So it's really nice because it gives it some pop with color against the natural cherry wood stain. So let's talk about assembly. This is how you're going to assemble this chair. So obviously when you get it, it's going to be completely disassembled. The first step that you're going to get, or actually, I should say that I'm going to mark everything underneath the chair, right? So looking at the chair right to left, the seat slats is what I call, starting with the front fork end board. That's number 1, go all the way to number 7. Again, they're all going to be marked underneath on the right side. Those sit on a 2x6. So as far as like the construction, is you're sitting on a 2x6, 2x4. That's the base. The legs are 2x4, and then the seat base is 2x6. Seats that sit on that, you're going to start on a flat surface, right? This first step is to put the seat slats. You make sure that the bottom lines up with the bottom of the 2x6, and then just walk it back 1 through 7. And then where it ends, there's going to be a 1-inch gap before this 2x6 brace spacer that goes in between the legs fits. And then it's got the 2 screws on each side. You're going to get extra sawdust and wood plugs. Go as deep as you can and then fill them in. If you plan on ever taking it apart, then I would just recommend keeping it flush, but there's plenty of wood plugs in there to plug those. So seat is number one, 1 through 7. The spacer, again, right, left. Then the next one is going to be your arms, right? Your arms are going to come already assembled with this extra support. And then your lag bolts, right? And so I'm using carriage bolts. They're 3/8, 3.5 inches long. This is pretty sturdy construction. It's 20. I didn't mention, but the width of the chair is 24 inches wide. The the height is about 34 inches from top to bottom, and then from front to back, you have to give yourself it's 36 inches. So give yourself 3 feet space. The front legs go on. Lag bolts always go outside in. Front legs are on the outside. Back legs are on the inside. Then with the carriage bolts outside in, it goes washer, lock nut, nut. You're going to need a 9/16 socket along with the rubber mallet, I recommend. Seat, front legs, spacer, back legs. Then in the back, you're going to get this 21-inch board. This is the back brace that goes right in between the two legs, the back legs. And one thing to point out, you'll have to be mindful, is you're not going to be able to see it in this video because the stain is really dark, but I'll have a pencil mark underneath of where this should end. But since everything is pre-drilled, right, and just again, they're pre-drilled, so just use the same holes. Getting back to this though, where it'll be marked in pencil, you do not want to go all the way to the top here, to the top of this back leg, because if you do, it's going to bump up this arm and it's not going to be flush. So there's a reason that there's like a 1/4 inch from the bottom to the top. So, but again, look for the markings, okay? And then again, it's going to be marked underneath, right and left. Then the back back brace goes on. Then the next thing that you're going to put is your arms, right? The marking is going to be underneath. You're going to have to use the right side right, left side left. And then as far as like hardware, every screw that you're going to use is a coated torque bit screw, a torque screw, and it's a T25. Put this in the hardware. If you have a longer one, it's probably a little bit easier. You're going to need a drill. If you like the look flush, then fine. It looks sharp, right? Like the top of these are all countersunk, and I always keep them flush to the top of the board. But with the arms, there's going to be sawdust in the bag. Drill them if you wish to go deep, go as deep as you can, and then take a pinch of sawdust, fill it in, and then use the wood plug that goes on top. Or otherwise, you can just leave them like that. But just make sure that sits nice and flush and centered. Again, look for the same holes that have been pre-drilled. That's it. Oh, and then the last piece, of course, is your tail. So this is one entire piece that slips right into that gap. It's the back. There's actually a back brace to the back that not only is supporting the boards, but it acts as a stop, right? So just go all the way to the top. And you can't go any further because, of course, I just made it super tight, but that will just gently rest. Like there's probably a 1/4 inch. It's not even touching, but again, that's by design. So, and then the other thing, since again, this Long Island piece, it's definitely braced. It's glued and screwed. I use a ton of glue on here as much as I could, so it's sturdy. The only word of caution that I have is just be mindful of anyone coming back and snagging this or catching this, right? I mean, I could have made the stay shorter so it's not sticking outside of the width of the chair, but it's the perfect size. It's just what I had to deal with, and that's the fun part about figuring stuff out like that when you're designing a chair. But you'll see that it's sturdy, I promise. But again, you'll just want to throw extra caution. I don't know if you have kids or little ones, just be careful with that piece that kind of sticks out. But and then the last piece is underneath underneath the chair, the tail of the chair. When it slips in, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 pre-drilled holes underneath the seat, and that keeps it from shifting, and those are 2 inch as well. Just screw those in. So that's pretty much the assembly of the chair. I talked to you about the stains, right? I used a red chestnut for the top, a cherry, and then the base is actually a red mahogany. Maintenance wise, I think maybe you'll be good for a couple years. If you wanted to do a light sand and put another coat, that's perfectly fine. But stain, it's an oil based stain. If it gets wet, it's fine. Water repel right off. And then the more you sit in it and touch it, of course, this will over time get really, really soft and super smooth just with touch alone. But that's pretty much the assembly of the chair. My telephone number is 612-423-1468. In the event you have any questions, concerns, or if there are any issues with the chairs, please let me know. I would love your feedback on the chair. Speaking of feedback, um, it's an Adirondack style chair, but I've really experimented with the angle of the chair. I think you'll appreciate the pitch of the chair. I get really good feedback. It doesn't sit very low or tip you back like a typical Adirondack chair. So having a couple of these or on a fire or something, you can. It's an upright feel, so you feel like you can still have a conversation when you're sitting with other folks on a fire or outside or anything. But it just looks a little deceiving because it's on a table, so I'm really close to it. But that's pretty much it. Again, I would love your feedback. I will put this in a YouTube video and send this off, and then ship this off tomorrow finally, um, along with pictures and post stuff on social media once you give me the green light. But again, my pleasure, Jamie. It was so much fun making this chair for your dad, and I would love to get a picture and put it on my social media once you get it assembled and it finds its place. Good luck to the Bills next week. I hope they go all the way. Our Vikings, well, I don't even want to talk about them. But anyway, again, Marty, it was a fun project. Jamie, thank you so much. 612-423-1468. It's dowoodson.com. I'll put a couple of business cards in the package. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate the business.